What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and I'm stoked. First things first, though, I apologize. I'm sorry, I'm like a day plus late on this episode. I just had a few hiccups with my setup. But anyways, we're back in action, and here soon, actually, I'm just gonna start warning you guys here. You'll probably hear me say this a few times in upcoming videos, but my studio is gonna change. Everything's going to change. I'm moving my studio to a new spot. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to try to, make improvements while I'm doing it, but not give up my same old vibe, my same old feel that we've got, kind of, This is like a real worn-in, broke-in, workstation. This is kind of my spot. So, anyways, on with it. Today, as you can see, we got the ESP-XJ out here. This is my baby. I'm super stoked on this. This is one of my Axialfest builds. This is one of the rigs that I'm going to be taking there. I'm actually taking a bunch of trucks, I think. I'm going to try to cut back on doing that, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how I get set up this year. I'm really, really trying to get set up properly this year, so we'll see. It's hard. I'm always ghetto, man. So anyways, this year, I'm going to be running this truck for sure, man. This is one I'm going to be taking, and I was going to try to keep it all secretive and be hush-hush about what I'm doing with it, but then I realized, you know what, the hell with that. I just want to show you guys what I'm working on. I keep getting a lot of questions, the same old questions over and over, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of new people here, so I figure I can use this truck to kind of answer some of those questions. And while we're at it, I wanted to go over the system that I'm going to be installing in this, which is nothing new. You guys know how I get down. You're going to be really familiar with this, but for those of you that are new here, or those of you that want to see how I go about doing this, maybe miss some of the past episodes, this will be a good chance to see how I do things. So first things first, I've got a gear reduction unit. This is a Team Raffi Co. 10-to-1 gear reduction unit for 540 motors, as you can see. And this right here is this is how I get my low gearing. I love low gearing. Now you'll see in previous episodes I've mentioned several other gear reduction units. That's because I try all kinds of things. I even try other transmissions. So I'm always open to ideas, but so far this seems to be the toughest one now. So pretty stoked on that. Excuse me. And then the motor I'm going to be plugging into that bad boy is going to be this Holmes Hobbies Puller Pro. This is a 3500 kV Puller Pro 4-pole motor. For those of you that need specs and have not seen this before, there you go. There's all your specs. This motor is sweet. I am a big fan of this. I run this in several of my trucks. And yeah, it's awesome. But here's the situation, and this is why I want to get into this, is because of the gearing, okay? Everybody knows Holmes Hobbies' old school motto of gear down, volt up, right? Gear down, volt up. That's how you get temps down. That's how you get runtime up. That's how you get torque up. That's how you just get the most out of your system, at least in the majority of applications where you're going to be running these types of rigs. Now, here's the situation, okay? And a lot of guys need to really think about this. It is 100% subject to your opinion, your desire. How do you build your trucks, okay? If you want to squeeze the trigger, all right, on your controller and have this thing rock back and lift a tire off the ground, just doing, burnouts and wheelies, or you want to be able to spin donuts and stuff like that, you're not going to want to build exactly how I build, okay? And that's not a bad thing. It's just a different thing, okay? We have differences. So for me personally, I like low gearing. I like to replicate real life as much as I can, okay? And yes, you can take a Jeep and go do a donut, okay? You can't do a wheelie in it. I mean, maybe you can if you're got that bad of a motor in it or something. But the thing is, and maybe that much traction. But the thing is, with a Jeep, the majority of the time, and especially how they come from the factory, when you go off-road, what you do is you put it into four-wheel drive low. Okay, yeah, you can put it in four-wheel drive high, but most of us, when we go hit trails, we're in four-wheel drive low. Okay, and then we're usually in first gear, maybe second gear when you really get on it, right? And that's it. And so, therefore, I'm trying to recreate that. I'm trying to keep a low-geared vehicle that can just inch one lug at a time, but also, just get a little ump to pop the front end up over something if I need to. Maybe I need to give something a little bump to get up it. I want to be able to do that, but I don't want it to be unrealistic. I don't want it to be like all of a sudden now I'm not in 4 low, I'm in 4 high, or I'm in regular, standard drive with, you see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, it's got to be realistic to me, okay? And so that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same for you, but for me, that's how my thought process is. So for that, a 3500 kV motor is way too high of a kV motor to do what I'm talking about doing, okay? That is why I use a gear reduction unit. I take that 3500 kV and I plug it in through a 10-to-1, and next thing you know, we've got this big old hunk of just torque right here, and I can run that for a decent amount of time, depending on how I'm driving, and get just unbelievably super controlled low end torque and crawlability. I mean, like I'm running a 80 turn motor on 4S or something like that, but at the same time have the wheel speed of a 35 turn motor. So this is where it's at for me. It's for some reason I have fallen into this, and it's been a thing now for a while with me. I love to do 3500, well, just like, higher kV motors, 3000 kV and up type motors through 7 to, well, just depending. It just depends on what I'm trying to prove, but running those through gear reduction units. Now, do I always do that? Absolutely not. No, I don't always do that. That's just my thing lately. I'm also down to just run a standard traditional styled layout where you have a spur gear and a pinion gear coming off of a transmission with the motor attached to the transmission. I'm totally cool with that. I have several trucks sitting behind me that have that type of a layout. But the thing is, when I do that, it just depends on what I'm doing, okay? It always just depends on what I'm doing. But when I do that, I usually run a lower kV motor and a taller spur gear, or a higher tooth spur gear with a lower tooth pinion gear. So same thing, I still gear it down as much as I can, and I still run a low kV. So in that case, I'd probably run like a 2200 kV brushless motor with a 90 tooth spur and maybe a 12 tooth pinion or something like that, right? Give or take. So anyways, you guys get the idea. That's what I'm doing. This is the motor I'm running. This is my baby. I don't know about you guys, but that is just beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. I know it's powerful. I've ran several of them now, and I'm super happy with them. So what I'm going to be using to get the juice to that bad boy is going to be another product you guys are familiar with. That's the Trailmaster BLE Pro ESC. That's this bad boy right here. This thing is, it's just a powerhouse. It's reliable. It's super tunable. It's waterproof. It's just my go-to. It is the one for me. So I take this, I run it on 3S or 4S, in between 2S and 4S, we'll say. I mean, just what everybody else runs, really. And that's how I get down, man. It just depends on the motor layout and what I'm running, the gearing setup and all that. And that's how I get the power. So this right here is a servo I'm going to be running. This is the BLS SHV500. This is the 12-volt servo. You guys should be pretty familiar with this if you've been watching my channel now too. It is a awesome servo, very powerful. It is direct wired, so it's not running through your. You'll see, it's not getting power from the receiver like the traditional type. So I have other videos about this. It basically wires in directly and gets power from your battery. So it's so far I haven't been able to break it. I don't know what else to say. It's a great servo. So basically I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about the Holmes Hobbies electronics that I'm going to be putting into my Axialfest build. At least one of them. I've got some more Axialfest stuff I'm building, and that's all going to have Holmes Hobbies products as well. So I just wanted to let you guys know, because this is, well, Axialfest is coming up, and Holmes Hobbies is killing it right now. So, and I just keep getting asked all the time what to run in a build and why I run what I run, or how I run what I run. And some other questions I keep getting asked is, how do I do my body mounts? How do I get the motor mounted up front? How do I do the leaf springs on the SCX10 axles? There's a bunch of stuff I keep getting asked, and how do I hide body pins, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and answer all of that stuff tomorrow on an episode of Camping with Coleman. But for now, you guys, thank you very much. I'm sorry for the late episode. And you know what it is. I'm going to see you guys out on the trails. Peace and chicken grease. Yeah.